Oh. That dream died long ago. You should have done the same.
Oh my. He ripped off one shirt and had another shirt underneath it.
Perish alongside you.
Bad like that. We've all had that moment when you have to look at your grandpa and say, "People, it's just not safe anymore. We're gonna have to take away the keys to your shirt." Finally, almost 5 hours into the Manhattan death rally, it was time for the headline. Trump was exhausted.
I cannot fathom it. His Majesty killed in his own bed.
The blooms upon the prince's grave had yet to wilt, without an heir to wear the crown. What will become of the royal magic?
Thus vulnerable, an invasion might undo us.
From within or without, the state hangs on a precipice. It may even come to civil war.
In dark times, we...
Kamala Harris proves you can have a big rally without calling any parts of the United States garbage. Last month, she broke the personal crowd record with 17,000 people in Greensboro, North Carolina. And last week, she broke that record for rallying 23,000 people who marched in Georgia. And this weekend, she broke it again with 30,000 people going wild for a Texas rally featuring Beyonce. When Harris took the stage, she addressed her younger supporters. Do we have anybody here from Tennessee? Where are you at? Do you know anyone that you may have fewer rights than your mother or your grandmother? Yeah, it's not right. And you know Grandma's just going to rub it in. We didn't just have reproductive rights. Houses for $15. Smoking made you live longer. And instead of dating apps, I just married the first sailor who bought me a gin Ricky. Heavy on the gin, light on the Ricky. Michelle Obama was also out on the trail for Harris. She spoke in Michigan.
I recognize that there are a lot of angry, disillusioned people out there, upset with the slow pace of change. Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage.
I trust this will suffice.
God
smiles upon the generous.
And so is her husband. What is it like?
Oh, away with
What's it like in
Back
that
to your
house?
socket, beggar.
I want to know when they disagree. What's it like when those two disagree about how to load a dishwasher? Now look,
A
Michelle.
land grotesque as its people.
There's a lot of talk about what does or
You
doesn't belong
dreamt
on
of
the top
utopia.
rack.
You saw the tribes
There aren't
united
bread
as one.
plates and dinner plates. There's only the united plates.
That dream died long ago. You should have done the same.
Listen, Barack, when the plates go low, the bowls go high.
Your kingdom will perish alongside you.
Anyway, Kamala Harris has been racking up major endorsements, but this weekend, she didn't get a big one because the Washington Post announced
By
that it
my
will not
hand.
endorse a presidential candidate in the upcoming
I
election.
cannot fathom it.
Claims, yeah,
His Majesty killed in his own bed.
The blooms upon the prince's grave had yet to wilt, without an heir to wear the crown. What will become of the royal magic?
Thus vulnerable, an invasion might undo us.
From within or without, the state hangs on a precipice. It may even come to civil war.
In dark times, we must stand together.
That would reflect the papers.
Your Eminence.
Who could do this?
Counterpoint, you're the opinion
Few
editor.
could even enter the king's chambers, let alone draw close. And yet,
His Majesty's arcane power could deflect near any blade. With all the royal bloodline's magic, who could harm him at all? Shadows stir in the castle just as they did with the prince. What hellbound soul could end a royal life? Who would dare such atrocity? Huh? Luis.
A shame to die with no heirs. The prince was taken too soon. And only a king may wield the royal scepter, the very crux of his vaunted bloodline's magic, which made such a fine deterrent to war. One has to ask, them dead, who shall take the throne?
I'm going to shred my collection of Washington Posts. Okay. Amazon.com. Paper shredders. Two-day shipping.
War is on the horizon. Before they command that I dry my pen, I must finish my final work. There's a tornado that may yet change this world. It isn't right. This idea of foreigners has only ever been a tool against the foreign. If we could end such prejudice, surely war would be next to fade. We would be free to travel to far-flung lands.
I have no opinion.
The reality is, we are riddled with anxiety. We fight. We oppress. And magic is but a tool of war. Our world could be better. Can we not dream such dreams? In such a world, they need no sorcery. A megapolis is built through learning and skilled labor. Glass spires reach the heavens, safe nights with no dark shadows, streets well-traveled. And in the laws of these emotionally satisfied people, it reads, all lives are equal. I know, just a daydream. Castle on a cloud. Yet I have faith. I believe that fiction can become hope, wielded by a worthy avatar. I believe a hero will stand true and change the world. After all, this world need not stay like this forever. The will to believe in something beyond us, indeed that, is what we call fantasy.
All right, then. Where to?
No, thank you.
True.
I can't think.
What to do, what to do. What in the
Wait!
Oh, okay.
What to do, what to do.
I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember Donald Trump actually blocked aid to Puerto Rico after I forget which hurricane, I forget the name, but like he despises Maria. It was Maria, yeah. He despises Puerto Rico because I'm really sorry to any Puerto Ricans watching. The average American does think of you as like a sweaty foreign country. They don't even know you're American. It's pretty fucked up. The fact that you're not a state still is. A lot of people argue this, like independence or statehood. I'm just going to weigh in because a lot of people do the cowardly thing and they say whatever the people want. I agree with whatever the people want, but I do have an opinion that you need a state. Let me you really think Puerto Rico would fare better on its own as a U.S. state with all the powers invested in being a U.S. state? Just like realistically. The same way I feel about Hawaii, where like when you hear about people saying Hawaii needs to be independent, it's always from white people who are like really into the cause, but then you ask like actual Hawaiian activists and they're like, well no, actually we just want revision of like land use rights and we want the Navy to stop dumping people everywhere and so on and so forth, you know. It's just my opinion. Again, I think that whatever the people of Puerto Rico want, and what the people of Puerto Rico want right now is Donald Trump's head on a pike for being associated with this. It's pretty bad.
Tony Hinchcliffe was I guess a warm-up act, you could say, at the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden, but those comments sparked criticism obviously from the Puerto Rican community, Democrats and some Latino Republicans. Other big name supporters.
This guy was on a beggars list. He made the I mean you saw the previous video, but this is the same guy who made the black guy carving watermelon joke. Alright, heck yeah. The black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants. Classic stuff. In the United States of America. With open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
remarkable how, and this is what I've said this so many times about conservative comedy, like that they can't be funny. They're not funny. There's a reason why conservatives are funny. They're too busy being bigoted to be funny. Being funny requires subversion of expectation and like lead up and build the joke. I actually think the build up to this joke could have been pretty good. I actually kind of like that one, the open arms, but it's like this, you know. But the problem is that you're at a Trump rally. The expected point you would make would be that you hate immigrants. Like, so there's no subversion of expectation there. Like, everyone knows what you're doing, you know? The real subversion would be if you made a joke at the expense of the audience, which is what a real comedian and not a hack would do. But, right, like, we know why he's here, you know?
It's wild. These Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that.
That's true.
They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that.
We laugh from this crowd.
Like they do our country.
You're telling me something could go wrong with bringing this guy to speak at a political rally? Oh, does this guy drop bangers on the reg?
Give it up for the one and only Tony Hinchcliffe.
Really makes you wonder what the priorities of this presidential administration are when this guy was invited to an official rally in Madison Square Garden. Again, like, it really makes you contemplate. Trump Jr. called this guy for sure. Oh, this guy's like probably Trump Jr.'s favorite comedian. Yeah, he was dropped for this one. I don't know the guy's history. I don't know the guy's lore. To be honest, I don't really care. I guess my main concern is that, like, yeah, we've been seeing this building to, like, a crescendo for a while, where you have Nazis who are too cowardly to just say that they're Nazis, so they hide it behind a veneer of comedy, but the comedy is just saying the things that Nazis say, but in funny voices. Sam Hyde is kind of like the main guy that I think of, where, like, he built an entire career off of wink, smile, nudge. I'm not a Nazi. Let me just be a Nazi. But like for a joke, and at one Kamala can react to this. What are they? Hold on. Do we have? Okay, hold on. First of all, can we acknowledge that this is my culture? What is this? Are we kidding with this right now? We're on Twitch.
What now?
Garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, alright.
You can tell it's a really good comedian. Like, alright, okay. You know what I mean? Like, when you clearly expect it to be an uproar. I mean, people at Madison Square Garden watching the Trump Forthright rally. I've maintained this. I really have. I really don't think the average Republican thinks of themselves as racist. I really do. I think they're racist. I don't think that they think of themselves as racist. I think that they think they're just fed up with DEI or whatever. They're very susceptible to propaganda. A lot of the Republican, like, leadership, their politics, are consciously racist. Like, they know they're racist. That comedian knows that he's racist. So I think what we're seeing here is a consequence of that disconnect that I keep talking about, where every once in a while, the people in charge of the Republican Party forget that they have to keep the plausible deniability on.
All right,
Makes
then.
sense? Like, the people who are making decisions about which comedians to host or what events to host or whatever, they forget that there is a language they have to adhere to with most Republican voters. I don't know, man. His jokes bomb.
I actually think that's Tony Hinchcliffe, which is super disappointing. I mean, I don't. He's a comedian. I don't follow like
This is
very
Puerto
closely.
Rico, and I saw it visually when he went down after the hurricane. People there, everybody coming together. We sent helicopters down to Minnesota. First time you do this.
What now?
Our Trump
paper towels out.
Look, I know that folks around here today understand this. Well, Puerto Rico is citizens. They pay taxes and serve in the military at almost a higher rate than anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's like super upsetting. Obviously, it's super upsetting to me. My family is from Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican, and like the thing that is so messed up that I wish more people understood is that the things that they do.
There are a lot of Puerto Ricans in the battleground states too. Like people are actually freaking out over this. That it could potentially have like a significant impact on the election. It would be very funny if Trump lost and you could credibly blame that one comedian for his loss. You know, that would genuinely be incredibly fun. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but it would be very funny if you could credibly blame Trump's loss on this one dipshit. You know, like in a marginal sense. I feel like Puerto Rico really is. The fact that it's not a state already is genuinely insane. That's DC, but I think Puerto Rico deserves more than DC does. Because at least if you're in DC, you can like walk 5 miles in any direction and be in a state. Puerto Rico is literally an island. You know, it's in a slightly different situation in terms of like the ability to. I'm not saying it's just what we do to DC. I'm just saying, you know, it's not good. It's not good. Puerto Rico is like the starter island that you get dropped on in an MMO before they let you loose in the open world. There are so many Puerto Ricans in America who are like, yeah, you know, I came here to seek out a better life. I've got like 6 siblings back home, and all of us are better than you. And they are. It's true. It's kind of like how I feel about Mexican immigrants in Los Angeles, where like I'm walking around LA and there are 2 castes of people, and one of them are domestic Americans who were born here, and they're soft and weak and annoying, and they drive like shit, and they're always on their damn cell phone. And then there are like a bunch of Mexican guys who are all 5'2", harder workers than I'll ever be, and genuinely phenomenal people. You at a bus stop with them for 5 minutes and walk away with new friends. It's crazy. They're just better than us. I'm telling you, this is my fascist opinion. It's that modern life is making us soft, and the hardship that they come from makes them better than us, at least in some respect. You know.
In Puerto Rico.
This one is just looking at his feet. Where do his feet go? Okay, this one doesn't have him in it. I have no exhibition of the brave. Big bargain day. Day of the hero. So that's the end of the game, I think. I mean, it's the end of. It's when the king decides who's the king.
They're not immigrants because Puerto Rican are Americans, but you know what I mean. Which is that there are a lot of right-wing Latin people who are really entrenched in white supremacy, and they talk down the countries they came from. You know, like there are Venezuelans, Cubans, Colombians, such and such in America who are quite white. They're almost always the white ones, and they're like, yeah, the shithole I came from. You know, yeah, it got ruined by brown people. There's always some version of that. I have never seen that with a Puerto Rican once in my entire life. I know it happens. I'm not saying it's impossible, but most of the Puerto Ricans, well, all the Puerto Ricans that I've ever personally known, have had a deep and abiding pride in Puerto Rico. It's not like the white Puerto Ricans are coming over and they're like, oh yeah, the brown ones stay behind. That's why it sucks. I just haven't noticed that. I don't know if there's like a different cultural bent to it or whatever, but it's yeah, Puerto Ricans are proud.
I see.
That's good. I think that's pride.
Fascinating.
And I think that's what we cuckold.
This right here. All right.
I'll do Stroll as my first brawler.
I'm counting on you.
Of course.
They love hanging their flag. Yeah, because they have a sick flag.
Yeah.
In a store, like,
You're right.
are you
A new ability.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah, the privilege of being on this campaign and traveling across the entire country. There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans across in battleground states that need to send them a message on this.
I want them to, like, roll that. I want everyone in Philadelphia to see that clip. If you live in Philly, why don't you go and see that clip? If you live in Reading, Pennsylvania, which I was there, I was in Reading last week.
I could be wrong. My understanding is that like the Bad Bunny endorsement, they immediately run away with it as like a campaign point. you guys know this, but there's
What
literally
now?
a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico is home to some of the most talented, innovative, and ambitious people in our nation. And
Yeah, all right. Don't blame me too much. Okay, they're proud enough of this. Bad Bunny should support for Harris after media makes a comment about Puerto Rico Trump rally. I have never seen this guy before in my entire life, but he seems cool. An endorsement from Bad Bunny has been at the top of the Harris campaign's wish list of celebrity endorsements for months, according to a source familiar with the campaign's Hollywood outreach. Man, thank you, Trump administration. The campaign understands the large reach that Bad Bunny has within the Latino community and believes his support can help sway young male Latino voters demographically gravitated towards Trump. I mean, that's pretty sick. Bad Bunny is one of the most popular musicians in the world. I'm sorry. The only time I hear about music, the only musician I hear about right now is Chappelle Roan, and that's because I know so many lesbians. That's like the only music knowledge that I get is adjacent to the fact that I'm a homo. That's it. I'm sorry. I didn't ask to be born.
you're letting, you're in Philly. Look at that trash. Like, what is trash is people actually just thinking of other human beings that way.
You're right. The joke was so bad that Republicans were doing damage control for it. Here's Rick Scott acknowledging that the joke bombed. The joke bombed for a reason. It's not funny. It's not true. Puerto Ricans are amazing people and amazing Americans. I've been to the island many times. It's a beautiful place. This is desperation right here. Republicans, Rick Scott has no ideological problem with calling Puerto Rico a trash island or whatever. Donald Trump called.
There you are. Alright, so I have put Stroll on as a brawler for just to test out how it works. I do think I need to also learn it with Saz, though, because I need to know what his,
I see.
I see. Cool. Yeah, I will leave it alone for now. I really want to get this, okay.
Hey!
Let's focus.
Okay.
Let's call it.
No registration issues, I trust?
No, indeed. And we found ourselves a perfect target.
Fine work.
Stroll.
See? She's convinced. Nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. I'll prepare a map of the surrounding areas as well. But never mind that.
Thank you.
Have you found us a kingly carriage?
Well, I have made some arrangements. How best to put it? The vessel itself is without peer. Supposedly, it will come to us on the day of the opening ceremony.
You don't sound too sure about that.
No, I'm certain. All I mean to say is, well, you shall soon see for yourself.
Well, under the circumstances, I'll take what we can get. And setting that up in a day. Not so bad having a knight on our side.
You needn't speak so. In truth, I've just resigned from the Knight's Order. Though 'tis only my bond of service I relinquish, not my title. We will shortly be seeking Luis's esteem. Should it come to light that I am a knight in active service, it may jeopardize our efforts.
Still, you didn't hesitate to leave. I can tell you're serious about this.
'Twas not an abrupt parting. I've come to doubt the Order since returning to find them serving the Santifex and not the Royals. Those who refused the Church's rule were cast out for their defiance. I only hope those fallen knights found useful employ elsewhere.
Sounds like you've been through a lot too.
Well, in any case, we can focus on our bounty contract now. Let's make sure we get some proper rest tonight. Let's rest.
Okay, maybe there's
Fancy a bit.
night.
All right.
Can I come in?
You can't sleep?
No, that's not it. You're all leaving tomorrow, right? I'll be cheering for you. So I just... Oh no. I promised Miss Fabian I wouldn't cry.
It's all right. I won't tell her.
Papa was trying to stop a bad man, you said. And that's what you're all doing too, isn't it? Please come back home safe. I'll be waiting here as long as it takes.
Wait for me.
Yep, I'll be waiting. The next time I see you again. Can you tell me more about the outside world?
This one's important.
I never got a chance to say this to Papa. So... thank you. I'll go to bed now.
Captain, may I have a moment?
Good night.
I was hoping for a chance to speak before we set out. Since our meeting, I've done nothing but impose on you. Now, you risk your very life for this cause. 'Tis no easy burden. It pains me to see. When I think of how this may yet save His Highness, I lose sight of all else. Such disregard ill becomes me.
You truly are devoted to him, aren't you?
I suppose I am at that. A guiding oath of 12 years is not easily cast aside. But that book, we met once before, on a carriage bound for the capital. Do you recall?
Now that you mention it, I do.
My apologies. I thought only to minimize casualties, one way or another. So, 'tis a novel envisioning an ideal world. Curious to see a utopian novel these days. I'd thought them long since banned. You needn't worry. I've no intention of taking it from you. I've sometimes wondered why such books were forbidden. Rumors say the Sanctists objected to their contents. Yet I wonder, how could a simple book have possibly stung them so? Do you mind if I read a passage or two? So, it is a fiction written as if a personal account. This chapter seems to concern the system by which the nation's leader is decided. In this country, one cannot become even a statesman, much less sovereign, without the consent of the people. Those who aspire to statecraft must first solemnly swear before the people what they will do in service of their country. Should they earn title but break their word, they are denounced and stripped of power. Such is the authority of the people. In this way, it is the people who are the land's true king. Quite the opposite of our own country. Now I see why our upper echelons would abolish such texts. Had our lands embraced such accountability, perhaps His Royal Highness would not have suffered such a fate. No. As a knight, 'tis not my place to say. I must clear my head of these fantasies. In the end, clinging to a dream will do me no good. Oh, I suppose 'tis not so bad to dream now and then. It takes power to walk the path of our dearest hopes. Perhaps that is the purpose of this newfound strength. My dearest dream. 'Tis to save His Highness, even at the cost of my life. Nothing more.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Judah!
Lady Judah!
Lady Judah. What even tribe is she?
Far away sky, blue and clear. Echo my wish, so that all may hear. One and all born to this land, as here we stand. Let us greet the rising dawn, hand in hand. Far away sky.
So far, I don't even say that they can do this, but she doesn't even have any tribes indicators that I can recognize. Like, is there a tribe that has mirror eyes? Like, I haven't seen that one yet. But she's clearly making a play for the throne using her singing talents, however they are bestowed upon her. I mean, music is part of the magic of this
Even
world,
I'm feeling
so...
the heat. Well, I suppose it's time to fan the flames.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the inauguration of the Tournament for the Throne! For the first time, the crown is anyone's to claim, as long as the aspirants can complete 3 grueling challenges.
Wow, a Sanctus Crier! He's perfect for this!
Let's discuss the venues. We kick off in the west, in the Pearl of the Coast, the Principality of Oceania's harbour city capital, Port Brilehaven.
Okay.
There, they face their first challenge, the Exhibition of the Brave. Each contender must bring back the head of a monster, a mark of their prowess and courage. Next, our would-be monarchs head east. Upon the misty peaks, we arrive in the Principality of Montario's beautiful city of faith, Alterbury Heights. And finally, our heroes make their well-deserved return home to Grand Trad. But first, let's do introductions. It's time to meet those risking their lives for the crown. Closest to the throne, I know him, you know him. It's Sanctism's one and only 78th Sanctifex, His Eminence, Forden!
Victory to Sanctifex Forden!
I claim no great ambition, nor any heated calls to action. All I wish is to restore order for our people and to safeguard our land from the threats beyond. This chaos we face is but one of God's many trials. Let us restore our kingdom's glory together!
Moving right along, we come next to His Eminence's champion, the very spear in his hand, the warrior monk captain of the Crown Theocracy, Master Guido!
I come before you only in loyal service of His Eminence. I relinquish the throne to him gladly. But those who would seize the crown by force, I will teach you to fear God and to fear me!
So much for this being a fair competition. How many horses do the Sanctists have in this race? Still, it's not over by far. The Luis supporters won't take this lying down.
What cowardice, Crier! Where's Count Louise?
All right, settle down. At this time, I can report that Count Luis has not applied to enter the tournament.
What? He's not even entering?
Then what becomes of us? Our entire purpose in this race was to get closer to him.
Don't worry. He's definitely paying attention. He's only in second as it is, so we can't afford to ignore this whole production. Sit tight. I'm sure he'll make a move soon.
All right. For those Count Luis supporters, you might want to meet our next entrant. A rising socialite, a man of ambition, godless and fearless, the brash young warrior serving Count Luis, Gladel, the Black Hound!
Him? So he was one of Luis's men.
The fallen king embraced Sanctism and all its holy tenets, and for what? He was nothing before Lord Luis. Look to the sky all you wish. No god can save you! What our country needs is power!
Well, it's not quite all the
Let's not listen
contenders,
to the guy
but
that
let's
can
get
only
on with
afford
the
half
introductions. The great
And he's
liberal
wearing the
merchant,
wrong
it's
hat.
Roger Ward. By
It's
war,
like
by
just,
conquest, by
just
right,
the
it's
hand,
Rudolph
the
Krauss.
finger parts of the
In it
glove.
more
Those
for
are
the
the
gauntlet
worst
runners
gloves
than the
ever.
throne, it's Lena Caden.
Oh, this
Sure to be popular by pledging free drinks for life.
weird little monster
It's Loveless
person.
O'Shea. Uplifting the beautiful
I think-
and deposing the hideous, it's Milo Maurizio.
Wow. If we lose this, I think the country has some even bigger problems.
Now, I do believe we have one final candidate. Do we have an Elden boy present? Come on, let's see a face.
Yeah, me. I don't want to tell you my story, but
Disgraceful. Is this the only way you could think to distinguish yourself?
I'm blue-haired. I mean, they could show off their magic.
By the way, the ride you applied with still hasn't arrived. And if it doesn't show up by the time the noon bell rings, you're disqualified. All right?
Hey! What's going on?
Huh?
That nitwit! What is he doing?
So, contestants, are you ready?
Oh, here comes our ride.
What? Lost, I say! Wait! Found your behave!
Oh, that's the guy that Moore wants me to talk to, I imagine. Mr. Machine Man.
It's quick!
Wait, it's headed right for the...
It'll crash! Whoa!
Nope. It's alright, it's alright. We'll get to your stupid city in time.
What the heck is
Wonderful. So much for a first impression.
What ho? Isn't he a marvel, chums?
You dolt! You nearly brought down the cathedral! Have a care, you buffoon. 'Twas bad enough when Luis did it the first time. That feckless, shameless old fool.
Not bad, kid. Guess you've got some interesting tricks up your sleeve after all. Right! I'd call that a full roster. Ladies and gentlemen, race across the land. Go! Prove yourself worthy and earn your crown. For the people, for the throne. Let the games begin!
We must take to the road.
Come on, come on! So fast! Gotta hold on to something or I'll get blown up!
It's incredible!
Oh, whoa, weird. Okay. This is our carriage.
Can you hear me?
Let's see.
Alright.
Let us hurry.
Do I just...
hold on, this place here.
Do I just...
Wow!
Oh.
Spectacular!
This is amazing! I don't know a thing about gauntlet runners, but even I can tell this is a hell of a craft. I can hardly believe she's ours to drive.
You're telling me, lad? Feels like ages since I've been out on the open road. This girl's been waiting long enough for her time to shine.
So this is what you use to talk with the driver? Convenient, that. Look, old fellow, are you really on our side? You realize we don't have funds to pay you.
Money? Ha! I'm not in this for the money, boy. What I want is a little gusto. What do you think, lad? Isn't this a rush?
It is at that. Like riding the wind.
That's the ticket. It's been so long since I've had a good chinwag.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You've a good head on your shoulders, boy. Yes, I can tell you're a sharp one. Where to, ladies? The world is our shellfish.
You certainly are a different person behind the wheel.
Hey, Hulkenberg! Can we get an explanation yet?
That man is Neurus. An Ishkia, if 'twas not obvious from the wings. And despite everything, he was heir to a noble house and personal machinist for the royal family.
What?
He's a master engineer, of course, positively peerless. But as you can see, the runners get him a bit excitable.
Okay. It's just a flashback to her getting the ride.
I'm coming in. Even amidst all this commotion in town, I find you buried in your work.
Too much to do.
As always. To business, then. I must ask a favor. Would you be able to ready a carriage for me?
No new commissions. No time for them. Ask another right.
It is not a new one I require. Before His Highness disappeared, did you not accept a contract to build him a custom carriage? Without a formal owner, I reasoned that it must now lie unused. I was hoping I might borrow it a short while.
Pish and tosh, woman. She is for royal use and naught else.
'Tis an unreasonable request, I know. But I'd not be asking without a grave need. Might I at least see it?
I mean, well,
'Twas specially made for His Highness, yes? Not a work you'd have sold off. Where lies it now?
I've deadlines to meet, dash it. Off with you now. Leave me be.
You've been acting stranger than usual. What ails you?
Whoa!
Good God. Is this a gauntlet runner? The very craft commissioned for His Highness the Prince? Even knowing His Highness was gone, still you toiled away. Oh, Neurus, you are an inspiration. Such nobility of purpose.
Yes.
Something keeps playing with your camera.
However,
Like a
for
cat
a
or
craft meant for
something?
the royal family, it is
I
rather
don't know, it keeps walking back and forth
excessive,
across the
isn't it?
camera.
Did you really build this vehicle exactly to their orders?
I don't know what to tell you, it just keeps... Maybe it's the ghost.
Cannot mean.
Well, at first, certainly, I followed the blueprints exactly.
Oh, it's a fly, lovely.
Well, I couldn't just let the old girl waste away. A masterpiece like her? Collecting dust in storage?
That's crazy.
No,
It just happened to walk across the...
unthinkable.
covered the whole thing.
I'm working toward a dream. And this poor old girl is going to help me see it through. And then, finally...
You imbecile! A lowly, brazen court engineer, butchering His Highness's inheritance for a hobby! For this mania! You embezzled the royal treasury and disrespected his legacy! Treason!
Mercy, please! Look, take my head if you must, milady. But leave the Balliol runner alone.
Look, this runner... Tis fully operational now, is it? Then I suggest you cooperate. For both our sakes. Finish your tinkering by tomorrow and bring it to the Grand Cathedral as soon as you can.
Eh? What's all this now? You play the proud soldier at me and then pluck it for your own schemes?
'Tis no scheme. I would use it for His Highness's sake.
For His Highness, eh? Hold a tick. Haven't you been looking for him? Wandering across God knows where, last I heard. So if you're back now and now you want a gauntlet runner for His Highness? Is His Highness still alive? That's it! I've got you, haven't I?
'Twas His Highness who gave you refuge while you were only a heretical scholar condemned by the Sanctists. The time has come to repay his mercy.
Understood.
Is that enough? Can this old duck really handle an undercover operation?
I know what you're thinking, but 'tis at least true that he feels an undying debt of gratitude to the royal family.
Pish and tosh, boy. A little faith. Not to brag, but this old duck's craft might be the fastest gauntlet runner in the kingdom. Why, probably the world. I think. Maybe.
How encouraging.
All I want is to push this runner as far and as fast as she can go. Show her off to the world. And you? Well, I presume you'd rather work together than have to walk, eh?
I don't know about this, but I guess we'll just have to trust him. What do you think?
I think we can count on him.
If you're sure, I suppose. We'll deal with it if we have to.
Either way, he knows the prince is alive, so we can't just leave him to his own devices. We're all in the same boat. Or runner, I guess.
You lot can handle the fighting, and I'll handle all the driving and greasework. Just make sure you've got a proper plan for all this mess now.
This guy's got no filter. But he has a point. We do need to talk strategy.
So, summing up. Our first trial is to slay a monster. We take its head as proof, then get it to the goal line before the deadline. The bigger the head, the better. Our destination is Port Brylehaven, the capital of the Western Principality of Oceania. It'd be a trek on foot, but this gauntlet runner should make it a snap.
So getting the bounty's head is our next move. And our target is a nefarious criminal who's been kidnapping and selling off children. Right?
A criminal? Did the task not specify a monster's head?
Don't worry, all part of the plan. We don't need to win this thing. We just need to get Luis's attention. Everyone's going to show up with monster heads, and we shake things up with a felon. A knight-turned-kidnapper at that. Shows them we're there for justice.
But to deliberately violate the rules, we risk being disqualified entirely. Then again, 'tis just as likely to win the people's attention and thereby Luis's.
What?
I do understand the intent. What do you think of this plan?
Okay.
I trust all of you completely.
Good enough for me. A captain's got to trust his crew, after all. The bounty's Heismay, an ex-knight. I realize that's a little close to home, Hulkenberg, so if you'd rather hang back...
No. His title is precisely why I cannot let his atrocities stand. And yet, 'tis strange indeed that we are hunting a mere man when the trial demands a monster. Then again, our true aim is beyond the ambitions of any other aspirant.
Second person clip.
Our fate rests in this plan of yours, Stroll.
Thank you. I'll try to ensure your trust isn't misplaced.
Righto. Then our course is set. Feel free to use anything in the Gauntlet Runner. Even got a bathing room if you could use a wash.
Good to know. We can always look around more thoroughly later.
Yes. You needn't tire yourself out before we arrive.
Well, I'm a tinkerer and not much else. All my fighting happens in the old workshop. But I'll take you wherever you're going for your sake and mine. After all, the wilds out there are no berry picnic. Oh, no. It's a den of wild beasts and savage scoundrels. And we'll not get past it without days on the road together. So, if you need anything besides a steady hand on the wheel, give me a hoot. Bound to find me in the cockpit or the engine room.
He's certainly an eccentric, but he doesn't seem like a bad person. We'll get used to him, I suppose. Oh, yeah?
Okay. Here's the cockpit, massive door, bedroom. Interact with the stove. How is that not in here? Ah, stove.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, well, apparently I'm gonna do like that.
Now, where was I?
This?
Hello? Spectacular.
Hmm?
Okay, so now I go back to the kitchen. Interact with stove. Okay, go to the bookshelf and read New World Travel Diary.
Actually?
Now we're talking.
What?
So then...
Sweet!
Looking for 4 imagination.
All right.
I get it. Still vapid. Okay. Interact with the cooking campfire to get cooking item.
The Gauntlet Runner arrives at the desert camp as the scorching sun sinks below the horizon, and the curtain of night falls over the land. Protected within the stalwart hull of the Gauntlet Runner, the party gains a short, peaceful respite.
Check the campfire every night. Got it. Okay.
Your thoughts?
Okay, interactive campfire. God, moth. Lovely. Delicious. Now talk to Stroll.
Hey.
For +4 imagination.
Now then.
So next up is Martira. It feels just like yesterday when I was first arrived in the royal capital. So much has happened in such a short span of time. I met you, we went over the northern fortress and awakened a mysterious power. And I'd once thought magic like this only existed in heroic tales of times long past. Speaking of which, I've been thinking that perhaps this is the same power that Hero Kings once used. If that's the case, then why do you think so many of them met miserable ends? They had no allies?
What's that about?
Oh, I see. Then...
How many more of these powers are still out there?
All right.
Got some imagination. That didn't quite rank me up. I'm still vapid. Come now. Let's talk some more.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Good morning.
True.
I knew it!
Spend time with Stroll. During a story event, you'll get prophecy drawing. Okay.
Hey. Now then. Got a moment?
Admire the idea of a world where monsters and senseless violence don't exist, where nothing is taken from you by others. That's why one day I want to restore my ruined hometown to its former glory. Not just mine, but all ruined hometowns.
Hey!
How about you? I shared my plan, let's hear yours. What'll you do when the fight's over? Well, that sounds like a pretty good idea, actually.
Aye.
Look at that.
Yeah. Hey.
No.
All right.
Now then.
Okay. Rank 2. I am now spirited.
Courage. Why, that's...
Conquer needs that precious kindling, with which followers' passions may be inflamed. Got some more match.
I say, we could stop for a break.
Coming now into view is the Tree of Prophecy,
Tree of Prophecy,
a resplendent tapestry of color against the backdrop of the bleak desert. One theory is that the tree's roots gorge on the land's magla, and still another is that it gorges on those enraptured by its colorful foliage, as though themselves snared by the bewitching magla surrounding the tree. The Gauntlet Runner comes to a stop at its base.
Wow.
That's...
Certainly.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Huh?
Huh?
However...
All right.
Alright. 4 wisdom.
The Gauntlet Runner arrives in a quiet clearing, concealed by boulders, as darkness reclaims the wilderness for itself. Monsters run rampant in the wilds. To sleep here would be perilous, unless from within the safety of a Gauntlet Runner. The party, secure in their Gauntlet Runner, spends the night in peace, hidden from hungry gazes.
Alright, just the campfire for Mama. Take a quick look at this. Tree of Prophecy. Towering, rich, crimson tree of overwhelming presence that rises from the middle of a desert. In reality, it is a magical plant that feeds on ambient maglas and nutrients as a result of the sensitive to subtleties of nature, such as weather and earthquakes, and is said to reflect the impending natural disaster through the color of its foliage. In recent years, both its leaves and the surrounding fog have been tinged red, a never-before-seen reaction. This superstition wonder of this new omen marks dark days to come. Curse formula. Yeah, if we can find the curse formula, we can undo the curse. Martira is an old town. Principality of Oceania. Exhibition of the Brave. Ishkia tribe. Yeah. Due in part to their regal stature, the Ishkia are commonly admired. However, the act of speaking down on others has been ingrained in their culture for some, making it just as common for them to be resented. Incidentally, their avian-like wings are purely cosmetic, Though they are able to move them to a small degree, they have no structure. They're actually just clusters of feathers. Those who aren't fond of Ishkia latch onto this deficiency of flight to ridicule them. Okay, so they can't fly. Although I imagine one of them probably will, and that will be a huge thing. Okay. Gildo is the monk. Oop. Gauntlet Runner Engineer. Milo, an Ishkia candidate. Okay. That's it. Talk to her for Imagination rank 2.
Hmm? Hmm.
Now then.
Gone from vapid to inspired.
Imagination. Why, that's...
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Finally! We're out of the desert!
Huh?
Oh wow! I missed all this green!
Ugh. Why is it so bumpy?
That'd be the change in terrain, lad.
See, you got to let the suspensions get used to hard ground instead of soft sand.
Must be nice to fly everywhere.
What the? Did we just crash?
Nothing but story for 2 days.
That's
a cannonade.
My star is rising! Ah!
Sanctism will reign!
It's them. Remember, from the opening ceremony. I think one of them is Guido, Forden's confidant, and the other is Luis's man, Gladel.
Prominent candidates. Shouldn't the king's magic petrify them for their aggression?
No, see where they're aiming. They're not shooting to kill, just to take out the opposing runner's legs.
Stuck out in the wilds with no working runner. Whether they survive or not, they're dashed well out of the race.
So does the clash to hold each other's advance. Damned fools couldn't resist a show of force.
Look! Over by the legs. That crier is there too.
I see. Acting as witness to the higher candidate's conflict. It seems Gladel cannot match Guido's firepower.
What's our plan? If we just hang back and watch, Godot's gonna win. And Forden gets a leg up on the competition.
Let's give Gladel a hand here.
Good thinking. That way we could win Luis's regards.
Agreed. Let us ride to Gladel's aid.
I say, hold on. You realize you're a no-name candidate, eh? If he wants to shut you out, he'll not have to aim for just our legs.
It's a runner, isn't it? If things get too dicey, we'll just run. Didn't you say we had the fastest craft around?
Fine. Suppose there's no room for caution if we want the world's eyes on us.
Okay, then it's settled. Let's make sure he owes us big.
There should be an external runner phone out there.
We're here to help. Withdraw, Gladel. Who goes there? Why do you stand for Luis's forces? Well, sorry. Can't get into it now. That Cortland runner. You're that commoner candidate who destroyed the Grand Cathedral. Was that not enough? You would profane the sacred a second time.
So be it. In God's name, be thou punished.
Okay.
You
Oh,
dare
no.
interfere in my fight!
I was hoping
Know
it
your
would be a-
place! Is it fame you seek? You thought by confronting me, you might lift your own names? Then you chose the wrong opponent.
I hate to interrupt, Old Egg, but it's a touch more complex than that.
We of the Crown Theocracy's monk army have silenced all who would oppose the eminence of God. Your petty ruses are beneath me. Now you shall know how powerless you truly are.
I may have to
the
actually
king's magic
load
means
because
we cannot
I
move to
might
strike
have
the doe
actually
himself.
built strong.
Go for
really
his
bad
followers
for this
first.
fight.
We'll thin their numbers and turn the tide.
Go, my brethren! Put the
But
fear
we'll
of
see.
God into these
Because he has
impious
no...
commoners.
I don't think I inherited any archetypes, so... That's one turn icon on a kill.
Nope, not this.
Okay.
I strike with conviction.
I will usher you
Let's
to
get
his
on with it.
side.
Not the...
It's not
This
working.
magic.
We can't attack the
Let's
doe.
go.
Nice hit.
By
That
my
was
sword,
perfect.
with blade in hand. Sever.
Go!
Pull yourself together.
Kneel before him.
What could
Like
you
I don't
hope
have
to
a proper
achieve?
healing spell.
Here they come.
He knows we can't attack
I
him.
call upon royal power
The
within.
only thing he has
No,
is perfect
not this.
time. So... Kinda? What's up? Alright. I'll be right back. In fact, I'm going to just reset this, and, because I need to rearrange these guys' builds before this fight, so I will just turn this game off.